Hello everyone, welcome to my first ever talking head video regarding cars. And today's topic is a heavy one. We're talking about EVs and how EVs aren't it. So let's unpack the EVs aren't it statement. When you say something is it means that something is it for everyone. With EVs, that is definitely not the case, so therefore they can never be it. It doesn't mean that I'm against EVs. Actually, when they first came out, I was like, charging it into a garage, not having to fill up with gasoline, it's a win-win, because I hate, out of everything when it comes down to cars, the thing that I really, really dislike is filling up with gasoline. I've said it. Even though it takes me just 5 minutes to fill up from 0 to 100%, it is still not something that I enjoy doing. So putting a car in the garage, plugging it in, and coming back to it at a full charge, hey man, that's a win-win for me. But then I started looking into it a little bit further after the government started pushing for EVs by giving incentives and stuff like that. That is really a red flag for me, because cars shouldn't need an incentive to be bought. There's plenty of them out there. You don't have to incentivize people. Plus, when you incentivize a purchase of a brand new car, that excludes a ton of people that cannot buy a brand new car ever. And that's my problem with EVs. Most of the problems, they do not occur in the first period. When you buy a brand new, you got that full-on warranty. Something goes wrong inside that warranty, it gets fixed for free. The problems end up happening after the warranty runs out. It's the same with internal combustion engine cars. Warranty runs out, big repair, you're on the hook for it. But the big difference with internal combustion engines and EVs is that EVs have a battery. And a battery, unfortunately, is a chemical thing. There's a chemical reaction going on inside of it. People love to say that they last a long time, and some of them have. But then on the other end of the spectrum, you have people that have issues. You only have to look at Tesla forums, or even on here, YouTube, Rich Rebuilds, to find out what kind of problems they are. And they end up having issues, having to replace it or having to fix it. Put a band-aid on it, essentially. And even that band-aid costs a few $1,000s. Full-on replacement on something like a Tesla, something that has a decent range, something that people would end up buying in the used market because those cars are going to have range left, where something like a Nissan Leaf, when they lose range of an already abysmal range, they're just not going to be cars that people can buy and use. But I get it. Like, everyone's hyper focused on the battery, like nothing else can go wrong right on EVs. Well, you'd be wrong about that, because drive motors, they tend to wear out as well. Technically, they should be a whole lot more reliable. They should be service free until they crap out, which is very, very nice, very, very good. But when they crap out, it's going to cost you $7,000. Now, to give an example of that happening, the million-mile Tesla is a P85D. Did 1,000,000 miles, but in that 1,000,000 miles, it went through 3 drive motors. Now, you only have to look on Tesla forums to see how much those things are. They're not cheap. And if you have to get them put in that Tesla, it's going to be even less cheap. It also went through 3 batteries. Interestingly enough about that one, though, the last battery that it went on, it drove 2/3 of the distance on. But on the flip side, it also means that in the first 1/3, it nuked 2 batteries. So, what are you going to do about that? Not a lot. It's not very confidence inspiring either, if I'm completely honest. Another problem, especially when it comes down to the used market, is that EVs just work. That's the nature of the beast. When it comes down to electrical appliances, they work. And there's very little that you can notice to find out that it is on its last legs. Unlike an internal combustion engine car, which smokes, it hesitates, starts rough, runs rough, all stuff like that. You find out early on, hey man, that's not the one that I want to buy because it has all these issues. It doesn't have maintenance records on it, and you don't want to buy it. If it has a ton of maintenance records and it runs perfect, hey, you want to buy that one. EVs need maintenance too, but less of it, which is a plus. But again, Doesn't really matter as soon as they get out of warranty. It's great when they work, but when they don't, you're hosed. And they don't let you know. Like when you're driving around, they don't let you know any of these things. Plenty of topics out there of EVs working one day and then all of a sudden not working the next. Nature of electricity. It works or it doesn't. It's very simple. And we already established that it's very expensive to get it back working again. And this is where I'm coming from. I don't look in the next 2 years or 3 years or even 10 years. No, I'm looking in that far future, in that utopia where everything is EV. Where it's no longer possible to go on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace and find that token 10-year-old car with 150,000 miles on it. Adult owned, or heck, maybe even senior owned, immaculate condition, ready for another decade. Heck, if you truly search and you take your time, you're going to find out some Buick that is 20 years old, that has probably 60,000 miles on it, and is ready to do another decade of service with regular service intervals. That's not going to be the case for an EV. They're not going to be on the original battery. And if they are on the original battery, well, they're not going to be working very well because batteries degrade. Chemical reaction slows down the moment it's put together. Thinking that they're going to last 20 years? They might. Some of them have lasted 10, so they might last 20. But then a lot of people have had problems in the first 10 years already. So that's only going to get bigger and worse in the coming 10 years. And I think in the coming 10 years, people probably going to get their eyes opened a lot. They're going to see that for the lower income people, EVs just won't work. Lower income people, they can fix their cars in their driveways. You can't do that with an EV. There's something wrong with the battery. Most people won't have the capability of taking that battery out of the car, let alone work on that battery. Because that's another thing. You can't see electricity. It's there, but you can't see it. Do something wrong, it's going to cost you. With an internal combustion engine car, well, there's only really one thing you should be worrying about, and that's the smell. You smell gasoline, might not want to have an open flame nearby. Just smart thing to do. People that own internal combustion engine cars can work on them. They got it made. People that own internal combustion engine cars that have to go to the dealership, well, they're hosed. But people that own an EV, then forced to go to a dealership or a place that can work on them, well, they are 100% hosed. Because the repairs just aren't cheap. They're never cheap. And that's the main problem with repairs. At times they're going to start to exceed the value of the car. And the moment they exceed the value of the car's toast. It happens to internal combustion engine cars, but it comes a whole lot quicker with EVs. I understand this is a hot topic, and I understand that people are wildly passionate one way or the other. For me, I'm definitely on Team ICE. Because it's just more affordable as cars age. And they last longer. They won't be pulling a 50-year-old EV out of a barn, putting $2,000 worth of parts at it, and driving it 500 or 800 miles. That's not going to happen. Because you have to replace that battery. Kind of an extreme example, I understand. But sometimes you have to make those examples to get your point across. And that point is that EVs just won't work for the grand majority of people because it's not affordable. And I feel it's my duty to bring that out there and my duty to tell people this for themselves, for their kids, and their kids' kids. Because I think that everyone should have the ability to have personal transportation, not just the people that are very well off. So there it is. That's my opinion. You agree with it? You don't agree with it? Please let me know in the comment section below. Be interested to see what you have to say. And one more thing. If you like this type of content, please let me know. I might make more videos. If you have other topics for me to talk about, please let me know there as well. Because these videos are easy to make. And if they entertain you, that's all I'm in for it. You guys take care, and I'll see you on the flip side.